Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So I'm here today with the brand new Xiaomi 12X. Now this is the latest flagship phone that we've got from Xiaomi, and it's just the Xiaomi 12X, no Mi 12X. They took that out last year, I guess kind of changed things up a little bit. Still, old habits die hard. I still want to say the Mi 12X, but it's just the 12X. So, came out today. What are some notable things about it? Well, it's got the Snapdragon 870 underneath the hood. And you're probably wondering, what is the Snapdragon 870? Why is it not the 8 generation 1? Why is it not a 888? Can you please make this make some sense? What it is it's the Snapdragon 865, but they overclocked the processor and the graphics processor unit in it. So now this sucker has a primary core with a 3.2 gigahertz processing speed on it. So what they've done is they took a older processor that was a flagship processor basically from like a year and a half ago, well, actually about 2 years ago now, and they souped it up and they overpowered it. And they kind of gave it some new life. They did this with a couple other processors last year, I'm guessing because of the silicon shortage, but this isn't a bad thing because you still get tons and tons of power, but you also get a known processor that's been programmed for a while, and the underlying architecture doesn't seem to have the heating problems that we got with the 888 and the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. So, still a good phone, and you also get a 50 megapixel Sony camera on the back. Really nice camera. You also get a 13 megapixel ultra wide and a 5 megapixel telemacro, which is neat because you get that macro lens, but you can also kind of zoom in a little bit. I also like this 5 megapixels because you actually get decent quality macros, because if you use the 2 megapixel macro lens, they don't come out looking very good. So a lot of it has to do with the sensor, but also megapixels. This one actually is usable, so that's a good thing. Comes in 3 different colors. There's this gray one. There's also a blue one, which also looks nice. And then I really wish I could have got the purple one to match my lights in the background. The thing I like the most about this is we've got a 6.2-inch screen on a flagship quality phone. I really like the screen size because it gives you a lot of screen real estate, but you also don't have a behemoth of a phone. Enter stage right, we've got the S22 Ultra with the 6.8-inch screen. The display also has the 120 Hz refresh rate on it, which is nice. This is a feature that I absolutely love in phones nowadays, and it gives you the nice smooth scrolling feature, great for scrolling through your Twitter feed, your Instagram, for playing video games, for watching high intensity like action videos and stuff. It slows down some of that stuff so your eyes can actually process it, and it looks smoother. It gives it a smoother appearance, so that's a nice thing. It does eat up the battery more, but thankfully, with the Full HD Plus display and the 4,500 milliamp battery, it does help to minimize some of that. Also, it has the adaptive sync technology, so that does help out as well. But the phone itself, beautiful screen, and then you can see the little cutout 32 megapixel camera up there. It's not very intrusive on the display. The camera itself is okay. They didn't put as much emphasis on this as they did the primary camera. It doesn't have the greatest quality in the world. Also, it only does video at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So that's fine when you think about the display itself, because the phone can only display 1080p. So you'll always be able to see it in the native resolution you recorded it in. But at the same point in time, it is 2022. The camera module is capable of it, and the phone itself is capable of it. It can shoot 8K video on the back. I'm not really sure why we're limited to 1080p at 60 on the front. So not everybody wants those big gigantic screens. You want something you can use one-handed, but you don't have to sacrifice on performance. And there's not a whole lot of people that are really offering something like this, especially with this battery size, because it does have a 4,500 milliamp battery. If you contrast that with the new S22, it has a 3,700 milliamp battery. So a Snapdragon 870 with 4,500 milliamps is definitely a value proposition in the battery department, and also good on performance, because here's the thing. When you run a lot of these apps, you play a lot of these games, you do a lot of stuff on your phone, there's not really a noticeable difference over the last year or two because the phone processors are so powerful. So this one right here, definitely still a good option, even though it doesn't have a Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. That's not the end of the world. So I'm very happy with the way that this phone performs. It has Android 11 using MIUI 13, and that threw me off at first, because MIUI 13 you would think, okay, that's Android 12, right? No, it's Android 11. And I'm sure at some point we're going to get Android 12 on it. And I think what they've done here is they've taken a different approach than some of the other manufacturers, because you've seen that even Google themselves have had problems with the Pixel and Android 12. Samsung had problems with Android 12 initially. OnePlus had big problems with Android 12 initially. I think Xiaomi said, we're going to hold off on that for a little while, and we're going to update MIUI 13. We're going to run Android 11 for now. I don't have a problem with that because this is the best version of MIUI that I've ever used. It seems like they made it more streamlined and easier to use. Kind of like One UI, it's much easier to find things, especially in the settings. Even to change the settings over so I could use gesture navigation, I didn't have to go searching for the Holy Grail in like East Egypt to try and figure out where in the world it's at. So you can find things a lot better in the settings menu. I do appreciate that. It feels very snappy and responsive. Also, I like that every time you use the fingerprint sensor, it has vibration too. It's kind of a neat thing. So you've got the actually really good vibration motor in here too. The haptics on it are top notch, very good. Xiaomi usually has pretty good haptics in their phones, so I do like that. Also, you have, in addition to the optical fingerprint sensor under the screen, you have facial recognition, so that one works out just peachy as well. Complementary with the 32 megapixel camera. Again, the biggest selling factor for me here is you get all the flagship performance in a one-handed form factor with the beautiful screen. It's over 6.2 inches. You also get 1100 nits brightness, so it's perfectly good in the brightness department. It's not like 1700 peak brightness on some other phones, but I think that might be a little overkill in most departments. 1100 perfectly fine. AMOLED display, HDR 10+. So you can watch and enjoy the latest stuff as long as it's supported. Because if you don't have HDR 10+ support on an app, then I mean it's not going to work. But it is a feature that's available there that hopefully gets taken advantage of by people more than just Netflix. Also, the finish on the back is very not susceptible to fingerprints, which is very much appreciated. And also, you can get it recharged quick, fast, and in a hurry with the included 67-watt charger in the box that you can't use in the US. So here's the thing. Yes, it is a phone you can use internationally. Yes, it has 5G. It's capable and compatible. You can use it here in the US. You miss out on the whole charging opportunity. So if you're over in Europe or if you're somewhere with a 220 charger, then you're good to go. But if you're using the stuff over here we use, the 110, then it's problematic. So you kind of miss out on that if you buy it here. But it's still a nice gesture, I guess, considering like Apple and Samsung and Google don't even feel like you deserve a charger nowadays. So I do like that, at least. Also comes with the case, comes with the screen protector, already built onto the phone. Also a nice gesture, and you're protected straight out of the gate. So that's nice. IR blaster on top, something you don't see a lot in phones nowadays. It does have the Harman Kardon speakers on here, so you get really good stereo speakers. You get the speaker on the top and on the bottom, and you also get the nice handset speaker there so you can make nice, clear, and crisp phone calls. You have a SIM card slot down on the bottom. Unfortunately, no external SD card support, and I guess they decided to follow in line with Samsung, Apple, and Google and not offer you SD card support. Kind of frustrating, but you can get it in different storage configurations. I have the 256 version with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is mostly plenty for most people, I think, but you're not going to get a terabyte model out of this. You're not going to get a 512 model out of this. So the way they kind of do this, I'm not a big fan of. If you're not going to maximize the storage and give really high output options, then you need to put SD card support in there. So I don't like that move. Maybe it's a cost savings thing. I'm not really sure what the method behind the madness is, but there you have it. So overall impressions on the phone, I like it. I've enjoyed using it. You get this big camera on the back, and you get top-notch performance. Yes, it's not a Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. If you're a spec snob, you're probably not looking at this anyway. A lot of people in the US probably aren't looking at it. But it's a different opportunity to pick up a different type of phone that still gives you flagship level performance. You still get top-notch cameras. You get a great screen. Like, the screen on here is beautiful. I do very much like the screen. And you don't have to go buy a 6.7 inch, a 6.8 inch phone, or you don't have to buy a 6.1 inch phone like the S22 and sacrifice on the battery. This has tremendously more battery, 4,500 milliamps versus the 3,700 milliamps, and you actually get 67-watt charging. So if you want to go buy a US charger that's compatible with that, not only do you get more juice than the S22, you can also recharge it significantly faster than the 25 watts on the S22. So there's a lot of good things to look at here. Xiaomi does a good job when they put their phones together. I've enjoyed covering them for a long time. And this one right here, it's another one in their arsenal that is not really a whole lot of stuff to compromise on here. And that's what I like. I like that, yes, it's got 1080p plus display, but on a 6.2 inch screen, not the end of the world. I don't really complain too much at that size. If it were a 6.7, 6.8, if it were a 6.6 like the S22 Plus, yeah, I would complain. But also, this is not a $1,000 phone. It's not trying to be a $1,000 phone. And that's the important thing here. Yes, it is cheaper. I don't have the exact pricing on it because for whatever reason, they never give me the pricing before these things come out. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is a great value for the money. I know it's not going to be crazy expensive, especially compared to the other flagship phones that are out there. So also with the Snapdragon 870, you're not going to be paying an arm and a leg for one of these to get top-notch performance. But yeah, it would be nice if I had the price so I could tell you that, right? So anyway, the phone itself, I think it's solid. This is not a 100% complete review. I'm not going to sit here and say, review it and say you should do this or that if I don't know the price on it. This is just a product showcase. Had some time with it, had some experience with it over the last week or two. And so far, I do enjoy it. I think they've done a good job with this. Well put together. Kind of odd there's no telephoto, but I guess they really wanted to make the module this way so you could highlight the camera. But anyway, the telemacro is nice. It's a nice change. It's something Xiaomi does. And of course, you can even shoot 8K video. It's got Bluetooth. It's got Gorilla Glass Victus on it. There's no IP68 rating. There's no wireless charging because that's another weird thing that Xiaomi does with a lot of their phones. But anyway, it's a decent option if you want something that I know is not going to break the bank, gives you all the power and performance you would probably want or need with a smaller flagship phone, and we don't have the battery issues and the heat issues that we get with the, like, especially the Snapdragon 888 of last year. So I like the direction they've gone here, and again, you can pick it up starting basically today, I believe. So that's all I've got on this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.